You really think Bryce is going to the NBA?
I think Bryce has a chance. I think Bryce is better than Bronny.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to say it, but...
Why do you think that? Because he's bigger?
He's younger. He has more to learn, and he has more intangible.
Again, I live in LA. I live in the midst of all of the Valley high schools out here that are, Notre Dame.
I know you hear everything.
I think around here, many people just don't necessarily track him for being an NBA caliber player.
Let me ask you this. You think as a father, you gonna let one son make it and not the other one?
All right, folks, we've got an amazing guest in the building today. He's a two-time NBA champion, a college basketball legend with one of the most iconic shots in NCAA history, and a true floor general on and off the court. Whether it's dropping dimes or dropping knowledge, he's always bringing his A game. Y'all give it up for the one and only Mario Chalmers. What's up, cousin?
Hey, bam. Oh, you said dropping knowledge. What knowledge you be dropping?
It's just different things about life, about the game of basketball, man. Kind of older now, been through a lot, so I just try to help the younger generation.
I respect it. You and Trajan Langdon are the only two hoopers I've ever heard of being from Alaska. And I'm not even trying to be funny when I ask this question. Okay,
I'm going to throw you another name, and you're going to be surprised.
Who?
There's Carlos Boozer.
I didn't know that. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny. They got hoopers in Alaska? And at what point when you hoop in Alaska do you even realize that you are the caliber of player that could end up at a blue blood university?
Back in the day when I was growing up in Alaska, we had a lot of basketball players. Like that's when the basketball scene was super heavy with Trajan and Boozer coming up. Trajan was really the first one to open that door going to the NBA. And Trajan went to high school with my sister. He played for my dad at East High School. I went to a rival high school at Bartlett, so I don't like East at all. We don't get along.
Alaskan beef is probably real cold.
It's super cold, but it's not really beef. It's just them high schools. It's the two biggest high schools in Alaska. It's not a beef. It's just it's a rivalry. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So the basketball scene was definitely heavy. I didn't realize that I was good enough to go to the NBA until probably my junior year. I went to the top 100 camp in Virginia. And there was an NBA guy there working out with us, and we played one-on-one, and I destroyed him. And that's when I just kind of Eric Strickland. I'm going to say Eric Strickland.
Hey, I remember Eric Strick. He's Strick. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Eric Strickland.
You busted his ass? You gave him
crossed over and dunked on him. There's witnesses, videos, all of it. So that's when I really kind of took off and kind of felt like, yeah, I could do something with this basketball. And just started taking it more serious after that. People around my neighborhood make sure that I stayed in the gym, that I was on the right path. So everybody looked out for me and made sure that, they knew my goal was to make it to the NBA ever since I was a kid. So everybody around me just made sure I stayed on that correct path and got to fulfill my dream.
I want to get off topic because I didn't know we were going to be talking about Alaska today. What was it like growing up there?
I don't want to ask this. This is not a real question, but it's a real question. Y'all got bad joints in Alaska? You got beautiful women in Alaska?
Growing up, we did. I haven't been home in a couple of years, but growing up, we did. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It might not be a lot. The quantity's not. I mean, the quantity's not there, but we got some good quality up there.
Snow bunny, or we got chocolate. Is Dr. Umar proud of us, or how we?
It's gonna be both. I ain't gonna lie.
So was it like a bit of a culture shock when you officially moved to Kansas?
A little bit, just because all my family, I'm originally from North Carolina. So I grew up in Charlotte. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in North Carolina, Charlotte. I lived out here for a couple of years. So I spent a time in the lower 48. So when I went to Kansas, it was definitely a culture shock in the fact of I never seen so many white people. It was just everywhere. But they were so cool. They was welcoming. It's a big basketball town. So it's not the racist white people that you think of. It's the white people that just love sports, love their community, love everything about KU. So it was just very welcoming to come to that situation.
Now, Mario, we gonna move on. No. But you know good and damn well, just because them white folks is in the stands clapping for you, don't mean they wasn't calling you a behind your back. But we gonna let
I don't think so. Because at Kansas, we was dominating. Like, we was winning. So it wasn't like...
Bruh, You know what?
You just gotta meet a diehard Kansas fan, and then you'll understand what I'm saying. You'll be like, all right, I get what you're saying.
I want to have this conversation, but I really want to ask you about college basketball this year, because this year's freshman class is absolutely elite. Headlined by Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. I'm from Jersey, so I'm always going to represent Rutgers. Even the guy Igor Denham out at BYU is phenomenal. Liam McNeely up at UConn. Who would you take with the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft if you had a choice?
That's a hard question to answer, because then I start thinking of NBA teams that's trash right now that need help.
Wizards.
Can't nobody help them except God. Only reason I'm gonna say Cooper, because I've seen Cooper live when they played Kansas. I like Cooper a lot. I haven't seen Ace Bailey play. That's what I'm still waiting to see Rutgers play. But it's a toss up between them two. Them are the two names that I keep hearing and seeing a lot of highlights of.
I just want to throw out personally, right? I think that Cooper has a lot of game. He has a lot of intangibles, right? He plays really hard on the defensive end of the court. Like, he's going to give you his all. His offensive game, to me, leaves a lot to be desired. I personally feel like on an NBA level, Dylan Harper is going to have the best career of the three. Lead ball, elite scorer from 3 levels, 6'6", knows how to control pace. I think if the Wizards get the number 1 draft pick, assuming that they get it.
You don't want him to go to the Wizards.
I do. If nothing else, point guards in DC do really well. Gilbert Arenas, John Wall. Anytime they've ever had success, they've always had an elite point guard. And I think Dylan Harper would do very well in DC. Very well.
I hear you. I'm a Dylan Harper fan. But I just feel like it's too many elite point guards right now for him to go in there and shine right away. It's going to take him a couple years. No, he's going to be good. I'm talking about shine. Like, SGA came in. He didn't even kill at the Clippers. He got traded to go kill. And then he started killing at OKC. James Harden. He was a killer at OKC, but turned up when he went to Houston. So it's going to take him time to adjust. I think with Cooper, I see Cooper ending up at OKC. And the way they're developing them young guys, he fits in perfect with that young core that's developing and learning how to play. And we all know OKC got 100 picks in the next 2 drafts. So that's what I look at it like that. Like, with Dylan, he has to go to the right situation. And he's going to be good. Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts about that. He's going to be a good player in the NBA. It's just he got to go to the right situation off the bat to kill in the beginning.
Yeah, just as long as Jordan Poole is out of there. That's all.
I like JP. JP, all right.
He's unserious.
I mean, it's the Wizards. It's their organization. Like, you just got to know what's going on over here. It's like... It is what it is. That's what it is. It is what it is.
Okay, let's go back to college, because I want to get your thoughts on NIL. We ask a lot of the guys that come on the show about it. How much money do you think that you would have made, and how do you feel like it's affecting collegiate sports?
I think it's a gift for the curse. Definitely, I think people should be getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. Definitely should be making money off that, but I feel like it's still a crutch. I feel like kids don't have to work through nothing anymore. If you think about how we grew up, we didn't have the little handouts. We didn't have the easy ways out. We had to go to the gym, blood, grind, sweat, tears, come out, drenched, be ready to go to school, do everything. There was no easy way out. And I just feel like with the transfer portal, you don't have to sit out no year. You can dictate how much money you want. I just feel like it needs to be some adjustments to it, just so everybody just can't jump ship when they want to. If something don't go right, oh, I'm leaving. Or you're not playing me enough, I'm leaving. It's just, that's what I don't like about it. But everything else, I love it. And if I would have been able to get an NIL, I'm coming out $2-3 million out the gate. Like, don't even come to my house unless you got $2 million for me. Like, I'm not playing, because I see these kids and I'm like, these kids not even top 10 players, top 20 players getting $1 million to go to college. Like, I was a top 10 player in the 2005 class. So it's kind of like, I would have had some money. Like, I would have did big thing.
Yeah, if they got a lot of followers on TikTok, that goes into their recruitment. Yeah. It's a crazy thing. They could leverage their social media to get a bag. Yeah, it's a wild phenomenon. I want to talk about your time in the league. So during your time in Miami, you had success at the highest level, right? You won 2 chips. But anytime the team struggled, Even a team with Bron, Bosh, and D Wade, for some reason, you got the blame. Psychologically, how did you deal with being the fall guy for a team with such superstars?
Comes with the territory. You know, you're not blessed every day to have an opportunity to play with Hall of Famers and Bron, D Wade, CB, Ray Allen. So in my career, it was just you gotta do what you gotta do to win. I always knew it was never nothing personal. Just because off the court, you always see us together. You always see us kicking it, playing cards, or at the room playing a video game or something. So I knew it wasn't personal, and I knew they knew I knew how to win, and that was the biggest thing of why they kept me. I think, as you remember that team, I was the only person signed to that team before that decision. So it was kind of like I always joke around with everybody like, "Oh, Pat Riley called me, was like, hey, who you want to win a championship?" And I'm like, "Give me Bron, D Wade, CB." So I always joke around with that, but that's how it really went down, and just being around them guys and talking to them guys and seeing the work they put in every day, it makes you want to put in that same work, and it makes you not want to be the fall guy. Even though I am the fall guy, but I don't want to be the fall guy in everybody else's mind. Like, I can take whatever y'all say, but we're gonna be on this court. You're gonna need me. I'm gonna need you. So whatever you say, I understand, but let's get it done on the other end and win this game.
In hindsight, right? Would you have changed your approach with the incident with Bron when you told him, yo, you playing like a, or do you feel like that was what he needed to hear at that moment?
I wouldn't have changed my approach just because I'm a starter. I've always been a starter. I'm a stable starter. So even before the game, I would go to D Wade and I'd be like, yo, say we play the Pistons or Rodney Stuckey. Stuckey the best two guard in the league. Stuckey gonna bust your ass. And D Wade, go in there, put the cape on, come in there, get us to a win. So it was kind of like something I would do. So no, I wouldn't change my approach because we won that game, and we got Bron to play the way we needed Bron to play that day.
Well, what would you say was like the highlight of your career, if you could just choose one in your professional career?
The biggest one for me was just having my jersey retired at Kansas, just because for me, basketball started in Kansas with James Naismith, the inventor of basketball. He's one of the first coaches at KU. So to be able to go back there and see my jersey up there, my name, my family name hanging in the rafters and leaving a legacy, I think that was major for me, just so my kids could always know that their daddy did something special in the game of basketball. So for me, just leaving a great legacy and being able to know as a winner and somebody that left it all on the court.
Man, LeBron turns 40 this month, and the Lakers are still asking him to be the guy. Do you think that's an insane ask? And having been a teammate of his at the peak of his powers, how much longer do you see him realistically playing in the league?
Do I think it's a fair ask? Kind of, just because
Really,
it's LeBron James. He's such a dominant player. He knows his game so well that I wouldn't necessarily look for him to be a scorer that he is right now, but definitely a facilitator and running the team, getting the energy going, and just being that vet leader that's won championships, that learned how to win, and just teaching the young guys how to win. But I don't think they have the caliber or the talent to compete for anything. So I think that's the thing. They need a couple more pieces over there, but I think Bron should be the main vocal point of the team.
Really, even more so than AD? You don't feel like they should be playing? Well, they've been playing through AD a lot more this year.
Still play through AB, but I will let Bron be the point. I will let Bron control the offense, feed AD, run a two-man game between him and AD. I wouldn't tell Bron to go get 30 every night. I'm not saying that, but you should be 15, 10, 11. Almost 11? A triple-double every night. 11 assists. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
15 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Like, them numbers should be close. Like, you average 28, 7, and 7 for your career.
That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy being expended, though. You know, like, to average a triple double, that means you down there banging. You going for boards. You setting the table.
I won't say average triple double. You should be flirting with a triple double, just because you one of the bigger guys. Like, you know how to play this game. You know the cheats of being a vet, of what you can do and can't do, where you can get in and where you can't get in. So that's why I say with him, like, run the offense through him, but the scoring needs to go through AD. Like, gotcha. AD needs to touch the ball every time down the court.
And how many more years you see him playing?
Honestly, I see him staying there until Bryce gets there.
Guess where?
To the league.
How many more years is that? What is he?
Samaria. Samaria.
2 years. 2 years. That's 2 years.
Mario, respectfully, I live in LA, so I gotta be mindful. You know what I'm saying? I respect my affiliations and associations. Bryce getting to the NBA would be a shock to many.
No, Bryce?
Not Bryce. I hear what you're saying. Not Bryce.
I think that Bryce is really. I thought that Bryce was really good.
Bryce is really good. Bryce has a really high upside too. I've heard different things about Bryce, so I want to see him in the next year turn up, and I think this will be a big year for him.
Okay, well, speaking of LeBron's kids, what did you make of that historic moment between Bronny?
I loved it. I'm a person, I love black excellence, and I think for a father to be playing with a son and in that type of environment at the highest stage, that's a dream come true for any parent. And I think it's fitting for only the king to do it, for Bron to be able to do that. It's fitting. Like that's his whole storyline. Like he's always been a family man. He's always did things for the family, looked out for everybody else around him. So it's only fitting that it happens for him.
Okay. Yeah. You really think Bryce is going to the NBA?
I think Bryce has a chance. I think Bryce is better than Bronny.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to say it, but...
Why do you think that? Because he's bigger?
He's younger. He has more to learn, and he has more intangible.
Okay, but even in... Oh, man. Listen, again, I live in L.A. I live in the midst of all of the Valley high schools out here that are, Notre Dame,
I know you
Sierra
hear
Canyon.
everything.
I'm just saying, I'm just... lovingly and respectfully, anybody that is elite and that works hard, I want them to have the chance to live out their wildest dreams. So I never want to sound like I'm talking negatively about a child, especially. But I think around here, many people just don't necessarily track him for being an NBA caliber player.
Let me ask you this. You think as a father, you gonna let one son make it and not the other one?
Here's the difference.
Let's hear this. Let's hear this one.
Bronny had a very unique situation because of his situation with his heart, right? So you were able to kind of hide the glaring deficiencies in Bronny's game and attribute his lack of performance at USC to the fact that he wasn't on the court. Where I don't foresee Bryce having, something crazy with his heart happen. So I think that wherever he is, which is probably going to be Ohio State, if we can be honest, wherever he ends up, because right now he only holds 2 offers, I think he's going to be exploited. Also, on that Sierra Canyon team, Bryce is not the 3rd, 4th, or 5th guy. Whereas when Bronny was in high school, he had a defined role and played alongside elite caliber players and still shine. He was a McDonald's All-American. Bryce won't be a McDonald's All-American. We can't say but so much, but I understand what your eyes are saying. But that won't happen. But Bronny played good in the McDonald's All-American game. I think that's when people were like, oh, okay, he got some shit with him. Bryce don't. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's a little different.
I'm going to say this. You average 4 points in college. You play 11, maybe 10, 11 games maybe, and you don't shine in none of them games, and you still get drafted.
Okay. Mario, this is unrelated to sports, okay?
Yeah.
At the most emotionally and mentally fragile moments of your life, how did you want the people closest to you to show up?
That's a tough question. Because for me, when I go through things, I like to be alone. Just sit in my thoughts and kind of ponder what's going on and figure out a plan. But how I want them to show up, just check on me. Phone call, text, pull up at the crib, check on me for a quick second. Go get about to eat. Just make sure I'm mentally okay. That'd be the main thing. Emotionally, you can't control somebody's emotions. You can't really help with somebody's emotions, but you can mentally help them and be there for them and be a helping hand for them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming on with us.
No problem. I like this one. This is fun.
So you're gonna come back.
Yeah, I'll definitely come back. Just let me know.
Yeah, pull up on us, man.
Yeah, and you all let us know down in the comments what you thought of our interview with Mario Chalmers, his insight, like all of the things that he just bestowed upon us. And then you let us know who you'd like to see on the show next week.